We're back again, and this is the lovely Wednesday morning, and I want you to get out your packet. It's the packet that started with your penmanship. Remember, it looked like that because it is the 15th of the month of April, and I want you to turn to your language paper. So can you get to your language? It's your third piece in there. And at the top it says practice. All right? Good. Put your name in your name spot, remembering to keep your letters online. As you get older and older, your cursive needs to get smaller and smaller. I noticed that in third grade, especially in your phonics book next year that you'll have, that the phonics is, they've given you some very small lines or some very large words. And so in order to get your words to fit on the line, you're going to have to shrink your writing. So as you begin to work here, be sure that your writing is sitting on the line. Be sure that it's tight, not spread out, but tight and small. It's kind of what I'm looking at. Now you can't get it too small because it still have to touch the bottom, the polka dotty line, okay? You have to touch that. So you can't write it too small, but you can write it shrunk as far as not too much space between your letters, okay? So as you write your name, you want to be getting better and better at writing your name. And this is the time to do it when you're a kid, not waiting till you're an adult. You know, adults have many things on their, on their plates. They don't have time to sit and work on their penmanship, but you have time. So can you be really careful about writing your name? Okay. This is what it says. First of all, it says practice. In other words, when it says practice, it means there's no new things that we're going to learn today. We're just practicing our old things. Number one, it says match the subject part with the predicate part. And when they mean the word part, they're meaning all of this, not just one word usually, but usually the whole thing. So that word part it's important in this book company to know that word part. And because you'll be using this book company next year, you might as well get used to that. Okay, so number one, we're matching the subject part to the predicate part. Number one, Joe. Joe is God's word. Joe read the Bible at church. Joe asks his friend to church. All right, I'll let you think about that. Can you figure out? And if you are unsure, it's always a good idea to look at it all. You know, if you're not sure about that one, go to the next and see if maybe you can figure something out by looking at the next one. So let's try that. Number two, Eva and Zach. Eva and Zach is God's word. Eva and Zach read the Bible at church. Eva and Zach asks his friend to church. Anything becoming more clear? Let's look at the third one. The Bible. The Bible is God's word. The Bible read the Bible at church. The Bible asks his friend to church. Well, that's the easiest one. All right. So go ahead and mark the Bible is God's word, because you knew that was the right answer. But now we have to think about the next. And there's a word there in the predicate. It says, read the Bible at church, or it also could say, read the Bible at church. Joe read the Bible at church. Okay, that makes sense. Joe asks his friend to church. That makes sense. Oh, dear me. Let's go to number two. Eva and Zach read the Bible at church. Okay, that makes sense. Or you could say Eva and Zach read the Bible at church. Yeah, that makes sense too. Oh my, let's go down to the bottom one. Eva and Zach asks his friend, uh-oh, now I know. Eva and Zach asks. No. You would say Eva and Zach ask. And it wouldn't be his friend. It would be their friend. Ah, so now I have the answer. Eva and Zach has to go with the middle one. Read the Bible at church. And Joe has to go with his asking his friends to church. Ah, whew, sometimes it's just too hard, isn't it? Okay, let's move on to the next. Circle the action verb. Okay? Remember, the verb is something that's happening. Draw a line between the subject part and the predicate part. Wow. Okay, we can do that. The little rabbit sleeps in a nest in the ground. What is your action verb? What's something that's happening here? And you're going to know it sleeps, because that's something you can do. So you get said to circle sleeps. And then you're going to put a dividing line up and down right in front of the word sleeps. So the subject is the little rabbit. That's what this sentence is mostly about. And what does the little rabbit do? He sleeps in a nest in the ground. And that sleeps in a nest in the ground is called your predicate. Okay, move on to number 5. His horse eats hay in the barn. Okay, we're looking for the action. What's something that's happening? What's the horse doing? Ah, you're right, he's eating. So circle the word eats and put the dividing line vertical up and down right in front of the word eats. So what's the horse doing? He's eating hay in the barn. And who's eating the hay in the barn? The horse. His horse. So his horse is the subject. And the predicate is eats hay in the barn. Good. Move down to number 6. Eagles live in nests on high rocks. Okay. What's your doing word? What's happening? What are the eagles doing? They live. They're living. So you circled the word live. Put the dividing line in front of live. So we ask the questions. Who are living in nests on high rocks? Eagles. That's the subject. And what are the eagles doing? They're living in nests on high rocks. Eagles is the subject. Live in nests on high rocks is the predicate. Number 7. A gray mouse builds a nest in the wall. Okay, what's the doing word? Builds. Put the dividing line in front. So a gray mouse does what? He builds a nest in the wall. And who builds a nest in the wall? A gray mouse. A gray mouse is the subject. That's what the sentence is mostly about. And what's he doing? He's building a nest in the wall. That part, builds a nest in the wall, is called your predicate. Okay, moved on to number 8. Circle the linking verb. Draw a line between the subject part and the predicate part. Okay, here we're looking for a verb, but we're not looking for an action verb. We're looking for a verb like is, are, was, were. Okay, like they call it a linking verb or a being verb. So they're a little bit trickier. 2 boys were hungry. Okay? Were is what you're going to circle. That is your verb. Okay? The boys were hungry. Circle were and put a dividing line up and down in front of were. Move down to number 9. The teacher is tall. Is your linking verb. Put a dividing line in front of it and circle is. Number 10, they are happy. Are is your word. Circle the are and put a dividing line in front of it. The day was warm. Circle was and put a dividing line in front of was. The day was warm. What was warm? The day. All right, good. Turn it on the back. Now this part you probably can do without me, but let's look and read it together. Circle the verb, draw a line between the subject part and the predicate part, and then underline the subject. Okay, so here we go. Our God gives homes to people. Our God does what? Circle, that's the verb. Put a dividing line in front of that word. And then tell me, who gives homes to people? Who is it that gives the homes to people? Underline that one word one time. Okay? Move down to number 13. Jacob lived in a tent. What did Jacob do? One word. Circle it and put a dividing line in front of it. And then I want to know who lived in a tent. Underline that word one time. Move down to number 14. David built a palace. What did David do? Can you circle that word? Put a dividing line in front of it. And who was it that built the palace? Can you underline that? Who built the palace? Move down to number 15. Daniel prayed near the window of his house. What did Daniel do? Circle that word. Put a dividing line in front of it. And who was it that prayed near the window of his house? Who was it that did the praying? Underline that word. Okay. Number 16. Noah's family stayed in the ark for many days. What did Noah's family do? Circle that word. Put a dividing line in front of it. And who stayed in the ark for many days? Be sure it's family. That's who stayed in the ark. Not Noah's, but family. So be sure that family is the word that's underlined. Okay, it's the family that stayed. Good. Move down to number 17, 18, 19, and 20. And it looks like there are 4 words to put in the blanks. Butterfly, toad, class, and it. I'll read them, but you can do it on your own. The blank ran out to the playground. Okay, butterfly, toad, class, it. The blank ran out to the playground. Number 18. The blank landed on Miss Jones. Would it be butterfly, toad, class, it? Now let me tell you something. If the toad had landed on Mrs. Harbor, we would all be screaming. Oh my, that would be too scary. Oh, but this Miss Jones is very good. She a blank landed on her. So okay, number 19. A blank hopped from a bush. What would hop from a bush? A butterfly, a toad, a class, or it? And number 20. Blank was brown and bumpy. What was brown and bumpy? Butterfly, toad, class, and it. And you only can use the words one time. So, okay, be careful with that. All right, good. Okay, you should have that done pretty much. Always go back and check your work. Be sure you didn't leave something out. And if you're done, Mommy can go ahead and grade it. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.